You will not know why we are here in a furu unless you are come to understand why God called us to come to a furu. I'll give you a brief history of TTS, Transformational Theological Seminary. The Transformational Theological Seminary is a seminary that is vetted under my hunger and in my ministry, Free Ministry International. And the first seminary seminar, I went to Asaba, Delta State. The Lord directed me to Asaba, Delta State to teach his men, to teach the church leaders and laity. And after the teaching that day, it was a dramatical movement. If I get to Asaba, I wasn't from Asaba, I'm from Anambra State. And Asaba is the road before you get to Onitsha. So we do cross Asaba when we're traveling. But one thing that is for sure is that I never believed that God would be sending me to Asaba. And I accepted it because it's God that said so. And I was thinking that God said, go to Asaba and plant a church. And with that mind, I was going to plant a church in Asaba until God said, this is the actual place I want you to go. I was just still having in mind that God has called me to plant a church. And in the vehicle that day, God showed me a mango tree with flower on it and the corn in the center of the road. And he said, this is the place you will stop when you're going to Asaba. I've not been in Asaba as I always been in Asaba as a visitor. I've not lived in Asaba. I've not had anything to stay in Asaba. Then because God said so, I decided to look for a place like that because God said, look for a mango tree with a flower, and at the middle of the road, you will see a corn. You will see a corn plant at that middle of that road. And it happened the same way that when I started searching for the place, I got exactly what God asked me to do. But before getting to Asaba, he showed me in the cultural, there's something called Ego in our place, the head of the masquerade in a trance. And I was thinking that God has called me to go and that these people are the worshippers, that God is really calling me to go and deal with the idol worshipping in their land. And I was thinking on that direction. But believing that God has called me to go and raise the church there. Landing Asaba, a wonderful thing happened. I found an agent, the first agent I found, he picked me to a church. And that church, he said that these people are not paying well. I smiled, I laughed, I person laughed with just tears. I said, you don't know what you are asking about. That the church of God is not of that. And I decided, and I told him that that instead of taking this place, I might help this man or the woman who is in charge to, if he's doing church in the year, I might help them to pay for the rent. And we left for another place. He took me to another place. This time, the church there relocated and the place looked as if demolished. There was no house again. But you scarcely noticed that there was a church in that place. Then I was thinking of raising a structure in that place, but All of a sudden I was thinking, I said, why will the church move here? He said, and as an agent, he was telling me that the church moved because they have gotten their own apartment. I wasn't all sure of that, but I thought that I've gotten the right place because that was close to the center of their shrine. And I decided to go back to Lagos. Then when going back to Lagos, the Lord said, I didn't call you to Asaba to plant a church. I called you to stand out for kingdom leadership. I said, wow. And I began to plan my kingdom leadership. The next trip I went to Asaba, I was looking for a place like hall so that I can have a leadership meeting with people living in that place. The second I met with the PFN, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, the chapter there, and I told them my plight to teach people there. With their support, we were going, and I began to search for a place. To my surprise, the place I got was their cultural center at Nevis Road, the very place that God asked me to stop, where you have the mango tree with flower and the corn. It was a dramatic experience, and when I booked in that place of 18th on the 28th of October 2018, I now went and started doing the publication of what is going to happen. And God said, I'm not sending you with people, I'm sending you alone. It was a dramatic experience. Then when the time came, as I've made some necessary arrangement with the PFM people there, and I left people, I didn't move with anybody. Then I carried the vehicle I have to drive. I drove from Lagos to Asaba with the equipment. We put the place in order. With the help of God, directed me to one organization on evangelism. And one of them helped me so much. He was one of my second who was doing some other things in the meeting. And the dramatic meeting was turned out of about 31 persons, which we were very happy for the meeting. But at the hotel room that evening, something happened. The Lord said that I'm going to send you to start a theological school. He killed somebody, included somebody with uh, theological legaria, and said that this is how I want it to be. And we began a search on a place in Asaba. He said he's going to use Asaba as the center, as the headquarters. It was on that mood that we were moving, going here, going there, going here, going there with the agents. Not that they didn't see places, but so many places they saw. The Lord said something, said no. It was on that saying that the Lord told me, said that there's a place I'm sending you to Okokoko in Delta State. When I came out from the saying and I began to ask people about Okokoko of Delta State. And Okokoko, I started the Google because of the spelling, I couldn't get the spelling right. I searched everywhere for complete 9 months. But before then, God said something. When I was searching, God said, you will see people you will see person who will help you in what? West African Theological Seminary. I stayed for some time, was searching. That prompted me to go and meet Dr. Gary Maxey, the founder of WATS. I asked him if God had told him something about me. He said no. After discussion, he prayed for me and I left. To my surprise, it was until January 20th, 2020, that we were having our doctoral class in WATS. And some persons, two ministers came from this place, from Wari. And over the night, I was so disturbed. They came from Delta. I didn't even know the particular place they came from, but we call all of them Wari. I was so disturbed by the Holy Spirit to go and call the people up by the weekend because we have finished the first residency. The first week of the residency we have finished. Our cohort 6 at works. Then I have to do I have to stay back. I have to go back to my house in Lagos. I live in Lagos. And then they are at the school. Over that night, I was so disturbed. So the Holy Spirit dealt with me that night. That it was in the morning. When we came in the morning, I asked my wife, said that I want to call on my colleagues, fellow students who came from Delta, so that I can have a meeting with them. I have to put things, I went and bought things that they're supposed to put, that I will host them, then which we did. And I called them and called Abraham here too, and Abraham was friendly in the school and they said that would be fine. And I went and picked them up from school premises at Watts. That was on Saturday morning. Then when they came, we touched so many places. We went to hospitals, we went to some other places. But in my house, on the discussion, we were just discussing in my house and things about the ministry and the life. I told them there's a place God told me for the past 9 months. I've been searching for it. They said it's in Delta. I don't know the place. To my greatest surprise, they said it's in their backyard. It was just like a dream. And I decided to take a trip after we have finished. After the next week we finished on the 3rd.